We're live. We're live. I have a snarl in my hair. Thank God it's wash day. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
You're the problem. It was you.
I was supposed to do that like before the video started, and then the other thing happened, and yeah.
All right. So it's us, your girls, who do Finding Found, a little show about NBC's hit television series Found. Tonight we're talking about the 9th episode of season 1 of Found, entitled Missing While Scamming. Because they was scamming. So, one, hi Jermaine. He's up in the chat right now. He wanted to know how our Thanksgivings were. Mine was pretty good. Very low key. Super low key Thanksgiving. How was yours, Takeerah?
Exhausting. My girls were home for 5 days in a row, and I was ready for them to go the hell back to school. But no, Thanksgiving was
Cherish those babies. You shut your mouth. You cherish those sweet faces.
No, Thanksgiving was only like the second day in, so we were fine. Everyone was cool, but I was in the kitchen all day, and I was exhausted, and yeah. But then by like Saturday, I was like, "Are they still not at school?"
Nah, girl. Nah. As someone who works in education, I needed that break. Like so bad. So bad. So this entire year, every like holiday break, I'm so sorry. Today's wash day, my scalp is itching like a mofo because I use dry shampoo, which I never use, and it's so bad for your scalp. Anyway, so I've gotten sick for every single holiday break so far this year. And I don't mean like a little bit sick, I mean like violently ill. Like anyone who knows, I'm not going to talk about it here, but anyone knows the severity of it was extreme. There's something I have announced publicly to people that I am friends with that is embarrassing because it's been bad. But anyway, so this was the first break. I wasn't sick. I was so happy to have 5 days of not being sick, but I did not do what I wanted to because that's how breaks go.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in education, it's like the first 2 or 3 days are just trying to recover from the fact that your job is hard. Then you maybe get like 1 day of getting stuff done. That's really it. So, didn't get much done. Okay. So, Jermaine is happy to be back in the chat. Thank you. Sorry, also known as Walking Dead Eternal. Kira, sorry I haven't wrote you back on Twitter on the finale of Fear. It's all right. You got time.
Yeah.
You got time. Show's over now. So you can say it whenever you want. All right. So last night's episode. All right. I'm gonna preface this episode with something. You guys, I'm in the busy season of my work. Like, yeah, I work in education, but I also work for a church body. So as a result, December is wild. I have events every weekend between the podcast and work. I have literally a large event every weekend until Christmas, which I will then get a week off at. Thank the Lord. I'm so excited. But just so you know, because of this, I don't know that I'm going to be able to get rewatches in for the next couple weeks. So I'm going to go ahead and apologize now. I did not rewatch the episode from last night. So we are going off of purely my first impressions. Takeerah did rewatch it, right?
Mm-hmm. Just now.
Takeerah did. She's very fresh on what happened. So I'm glad because I'm going to be a little bit behind on these. Okay. So Missing While Scamming.
Found has been renewed for season 2.
When did this happen?
Mitchell just sent me a message.
Oh my goodness, Mitchell. To one, oh yeah, because Mitchell can't be in our chat because he's behind on the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Tell him thank you, Mitchell. Thank you very much. Um, Found has been renewed for season 2. That's exciting. This is thrilling, groundbreaking news here, folks. Bringing you the news. Will you check Twitter for the hashtag? I just want to see if anything else was announced.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so missing while scamming. Missing while scamming covers. I don't even know the names of the characters for this one. This was a good episode. I really liked this episode. I'm like, you know how I was like, I'm on the fence about this show. I'm not really sure. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm in. I'm all in now. I'm all in now, I think. Because every episode I'm like invested. This one I was also invested in. I think it's because we're getting so close to like maybe Gabby's gonna tell someone,
Yeah.
you know, what's going on. And so I think that's why I'm like, yeah, I'm really into this now. So yeah, it was a good one. I don't remember any of the characters' names because I didn't really care for them, honestly. The story was hard for me to get behind. It was like, you're like, "Oh, okay, well, like, that's kinda sad. Oh, the husband seems upset, but, like, what's up with the best friend assistant situation? What's going on there?" "Oh, okay. So okay, it's not what you think it is. He's not cheating. Okay, great. They're not stealing everything out of the house because that's definitely what that looked like." Um, and then it was like, "Oh, but she's also the worst."
Right.
And then you're like, "Oh, oh, okay. So I don't really care about your character very much." So it was hard to kind of get behind. I don't know if anybody saw my live tweet, but I said she sold LuLaRoe, didn't she? Because that's what it reminded me of when they said that she was bullying people essentially into selling leggings. So I was like, oh, we all seen that documentary. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know who you are. Lois is here. Hello. And Chanessa is here. Chanessa says, should we start
Hey.
placing bets on who finds out first and how? That could be very interesting. It's
Very
like
interesting.
fantasy football, but it's fantasy found.
Mm-hmm. Lois and Janessa, I don't know if you ladies were here, but Found has been renewed for season 2.
Yes. Brought to our on the ground news anchor, Mitchell.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hi, Lois. I'm glad you're here. I know you haven't been as into the show, but I hope you watched last week's and this week's because it has gotten so good. You may ask yourself, how does Bridget still have a cough this many weeks in? But I do indeed still have this cough. So every once in a while, I'm going to mute myself and cough, cough, cough. Okay, Janessa did not hear that, so she's super excited. And Lois has been sick with COVID.
Lois.
Lois, I'm so sorry to hear that. Are you okay? Are you like still, you're
Feeling
like good?
better?
You're still at home? You feeling better? Don't push yourself. Drink lots of fluids. You doing all right? Okay, so the episode, Takeerah.
Yes.
We're gonna flippy flop. You're gonna do all the talking this week.
Okay.
Deal with it. So go ahead and the floor is yours.
Okay, so last night I had actually missed the first 10 minutes of the episode. So I definitely had to get that second watch in, which I feel like I missed everything missing the first 10 minutes of the episode.
It was a little confusing. I started like literally 30 seconds late, and it was like they're both sick. And I was like, what's
Yeah.
happening? It
And then, of
was weird.
course, he has to be creepy, like, we're sick together.
That's weird. That's beyond weird. It's like a Munchausen thing, right? That's like Munchausen, but not really because you don't get sick with your patient with Munchausen. Never mind. It's not at all like Munchausen. Forget it.
Okay, so I guess I'll say, do we want to start with Lacey and Gabby? Do we want to start with Sarah and Gabby?
Well, let's get through the scammy part.
Okay.
Let's just get the scammy part out of the way. And then let's go back because there's a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a whole lot. Okay, so the girl whose name I can't remember because same, no connection.
Why did I have no Chanessa, help us. I know you know. Tell us the tell us the name. Chanessa is our executive producer. She just runs this. She runs this podcast. This isn't a podcast. This is a YouTube channel. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm not okay. Anyway, Lois does say that she feels a little bit better. And
Good.
Jermaine, that's sweet for you to say you hope she gets better. Melissa,
Melissa.
thank you. I felt like it
Yep.
was an M. Yeah.
So Melissa was kidnapped for ransom. Her partners showed up
Mhm.
together
Thruple.
at
Yep,
the
yep, yep, yep.
agency. Yeah. I wanted
Well,
to touch
thruple and then assistant also,
right.
because all three of them were there. It was kind of a grab bag of people. It seemed like an unusual crew.
Yeah. Yeah. It really was. I feel like for the first time I was like, oh, I should have watched this 3 times because what is happening?
Jermaine says Melissa, the Instagram model.
Yeah.
Yep.
So she was oh, okay. Sorry. Bill Kelly just liked my my
Look here. Look
tweet.
here. You put that phone away. You're in charge of this tonight. You put that phone away, young lady.
Okay. She was kidnapped for ransom. She is Instagram famous and she has I forgot to check how many followers. Was it like 2 million followers?
I think it was a lot. 2
Yeah, she
million
had
makes sense because that's the amount of ransom, but maybe that's not her amount of followers then. So
oh,
maybe you're
that's
misremembering
true.
the number, but I don't
I
know.
could be.
Yeah.
Um so yes, they want $2 million from her very not rich family.
I'm okay. I'm gonna read it. Okay, so let me preface. Bill Kelly is the name of the actor who plays the police chief in Found. We're going off on such a tangent right now. I'm so sorry to interrupt this train of thought. So Bill Kelly plays the police chief. He is a very sweet, very funny actor we have now come to know because he was active last night with live tweeting. So if you're interested in one rubbing elbows with Demaine Davis, you can also with Bill Kelly.
Mhm.
And Chanessa says mad props to Bill Kelly for being so cool with all of us hate tweeting his character because literally everyone was like, this guy is trash. This guy's corrupt. This guy sucks. Like, and he's just like, ha ha ha. So good on him for real. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and look up the director and stuff of this episode. You
Okay.
continue. You continue.
Okay. So, they showed up very upset, um, wanting Gabby's help. And okay, so oddly enough, they wanted to pay part of the ransom and they wanted to pay Gabby to help find her. So I guess they just kind of wanted to cover 2 bases if they could, which makes sense. I might want to try to do something similar. Um, but then we find out that they're very broke. She's pretending to be, this rich soccer mom, perfect cookie cutter, typical family woman, which she 100,000% isn't. Everyone is suspecting that the husband is cheating on her with the assistant. It turns out that they are not. They are a throuple. They called themselves a throuple, but I just wanted to interject because there is actually a difference between being polyamorous and being a throuple.
I would not know.
um,
This is your area of expertise, I guess. So go right ahead.
a lot of people just assume that they are one and the same, but they're not. Usually, when you're polyamorous, you can be with as many or as little people as you want at whatever given time. And you can either all be with each other or not all be with each other. One, it could be various combinations. A throuple
Sure.
is what they were. They were a throuple. They were all monogamous to each other, basically,
Okay.
which is
Yeah.
the very definition of what a throuple is.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, they didn't even have to say polyamorous. They could have literally just left it at we're a pansexual throuple, and that would have just made sense.
Okay.
Just to get that out there.
Well, the technicalities of it all.
So,
That's
okay.
why it's in the chat, Jermaine. He said I can't pronounce the director's last name. It's why I put it in the chat because we're gonna try to sound it out, but it is a mouthful. It's a long one. So, anyway, I know it's okay. We'll come back to it.
Yeah. No, I don't know if I'm gonna try. I don't know if I'm gonna try to do that. I probably could find the.
Okay. All right. We're just gonna say it then. This episode was written by Cameron Johnson, who. So sometimes when I go to look at the list, it's on Wikipedia, so it can hyperlink to other things. A lot of the people on the show have not hyperlinked to anything, which means they're just like newer in the business, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, written by Cameron Johnson, did not have any other writing creds that I saw. I did not look at IMDb. Here's my thing with IMDb. The reason I don't go on there is because a lot of the time the information is incorrect. Not to say Wikipedia is perfect because it's not either. But I've noticed IMDb often has like just a lot of false information.
Oh no.
Because people go in and they change stuff around. It was directed by Charissa Sanjarn Sweethakul. That is my best effort at that. It's in the chat though. If you want to see the name for yourself, it's in the chat. Also, not no hyperlink there either. So nothing else that I saw directing wise or writing or anything else. So anyway, sorry. Continue, Takeerah.
Oh, I kind of forgot where I was, but it's fine.
Throuple. You were at throuple.
Oh yeah. So we find out that they're a throuple, so he's not cheating. So it kind of blows their whole thing out of the water because they suspected that maybe the cheaters had done something with Melissa. And then I'm a little bit fuzzy with the part when she starts to think like, oh, is this a scam against us?
Mm-hmm.
The chain of events, because the kids were bothering me at that moment. The chain of events that led up to that are a little bit fuzzy. I know that Zeke was doing some digging and he found something out and he wanted to tell her, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that.
Sorry, my husband was talking to me all through the episode last night for some reason.
Right.
He never does that. I don't know why. Anyway.
So basically it came to a point where she was feeling like, is this a scam against us? But that was also after kind of that scary parking lot moment. So I think at that moment, everybody was just like, you know what, it doesn't matter. Let's figure it out later and find her first.
The turnaround on like that portion of it, that episode was really fast because like it was like you were worried about Melissa until that point, and then all of a sudden it was like, bam, actually she's a liar, bam, are they scamming us, bam. It was just like a lot of stuff.
It was so much. Yeah.
Janessa says she got sued by a ton of former followers for scamming them.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we found out it was kind of like just an info dump of a bunch of stuff,
yeah,
kind of all at once.
So yes, so didn't matter because at that point, I think everyone was pretty convinced that her life was in danger no matter what. Because it's not like they just pulled the gun out and a fight ensued. Like there was a firefight with back and forth gunfire, so he was actually willing to shoot her.
Yeah.
Which, whew. Okay, so pause. What did you think of him calling the police? Of Trent calling the police?
So here's the thing. Like I I was with all of you last night, right? In the whole like, why would he call the police? Why would he call the police? But to be fair, he is a cop.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. He was doing his job
Yeah.
because he's trying to get his job back. So I really don't fault Trent for it. I get that she was upset, but like here's the thing. Here's my thing with Gabi. Here's what makes Gabi like Gabi is a likable character, but she also can be very unlikable. And
Mm-hmm.
it's often why I refer to her as unhinged. It's because everything has to be like her way or no way.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that it's probably a defense mechanism from being taken that then you become like the person who needs to be in control of absolutely everything because I will never lose control of my life ever again. But one, that's not realistic because that's not how life works.
Right.
So, like, sweetie, I need you to go to a therapist and talk through that. Okay. Because that's not how life works. That is like a really unhealthy way to like view life. Um, I don't. Okay, so Chanessa says I understand from Trent's perspective, but Gabi was right. He let his feelings for her get in the way. While that is true, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Clearly has feelings for her. That is part of the problem. The thing is that even if it wasn't Gabi, he should have called the cops. As a police officer, as someone who has taken a like a pledge to protect and serve, that is his job.
Also, I think they all got the crap scared out of them.
Oh yeah, it was terrifying.
And at that point, he was like, I don't care. Like,
Well, exactly.
when,
Like now here's why I said last night I was like, they should not have come in like that because that was not the way. That was not an
right,
appropriate way for the police to handle that
right.
in
Yeah.
that situation. Now that's out of Trent's control at that moment. One, he's still on restriction. He's not even like fully in yet. So that's my feeling on it.
So does this mean that, okay, I was going to say, does this mean now that he will be in because he did what the jerk chief wanted him to do?
I'm not sure because technically, yes, it like kind of forced his hand to rat on Gabi. One, here's what bothers me about this. She is she is knowingly operating outside of the law.
Yeah.
Okay. It's some of what she does is completely 100% illegal. And from like from a like a law standpoint, not like in regards to her, but just in regards to the people who are being accused of these things and being prosecuted, this can really muck up the trial.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's concerning about it to me. Now, again, this is like the unhinged part of it. Also, it's television. So, like, it's not real. But if this was really happening, I would like not be okay with the way that they were operating as a business. It's not okay.
Yeah. And just imagine if we did see like the other half of it where like the last 20 minutes is like that person going to trial and us seeing what happens because of the behavior of the
I
team.
know, like, like, oh well, we got a mistrial because this person didn't handle any of the evidence correctly or whatever. So, yeah, it could really muck it up for somebody. So, don't love that. Um, I yeah, I feel like Trent might be on his way in, but I don't think it obviously wasn't intentional. I don't think that he was going to turn on Gabi. It didn't seem like
Right.
it. Um, but again, that's also like it's just like a really unhealthy relationship dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's like, "No, I want you to do things exactly my way." And he's like, "Well, I have to uphold the law because I work for the law. I am the law." It's just like a really unhealthy dynamic.
And the thing is, like, I don't know why she expected him to just magically be like, I'm not a cop, so I'll forget everything that I've learned in my training and been abiding by all these years and be a
Yeah.
complete vigilante, you know.
He's not. He's not ever
Right.
going to be that person. So I don't know. I just kind of I don't foresee this being like a relationship that ever works out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
Mhm.
unfortunately, it's giving off that vibe. Like how because here's the thing, she's also kidnapped someone. Lest we forget. Which I was trying to explain that to Travis last night while he's like talking to me during the episode. I'm like, well, no, that guy's kidnapped. And he's like, but Bridget, he was kidnapped by his mom. And I was like, no, no. It was so confusing. I was like, no, that's a flashback. In current time, he's been kidnapped. Um, yeah, I don't foresee any of this. But again, I have that sinking feeling that like none of this is gonna go well.
None of it. Not any of it.
It's just not.
None. Yeah.
It's sad.
Before we jump into so many things, to finish off Melissa's story, um, you know, Gabby and Trent argue with the jerk chief. The jerk chief wants Gabby and the team off the case. Yada, yada, yada. We all know how that goes. But I think that we all saw this coming. Gabby goes to make the ransom drop, and it turns out that weird, creepy lady was in on it the whole time.
Her assistant.
Yeah.
Her actual assistant, not her sexual assistant. Forgive me, I'm not familiar with the terminology.
I like sexual assistant.
I think it's pretty accurate, actually. Anyway, moving on.
So unfortunately, Gabby gets there and tries to rescue Melissa, and Melissa is dead. We have lost, to us, our first lost client, but we discover that it is not their first lost client. I was trying to figure out how many people were on that.
4. There were 3, and Melissa was the 4th.
4th, okay.
Yeah.
That made me sad.
Those are pretty good odds. Honestly, that's a really high success rate.
Definitely. 90-something%, right?
I don't know. They have like, it's not 90, but it's like 80%.
Okay.
I think. That's really high success rates for missing people.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know where you wanted to go next, but I think maybe one of the easiest ones to get through is Margaret.
One of them is Gabby's dad. It did look like Gabby's dad. I don't know if that's right, Jermaine, but it did look like Gabby's dad.
I'm going to have to go back and look again because I need to see now.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know. That doesn't really make much sense, but it did kind of look like the same photo that we saw like not long ago. The article at the start of the episode said they had a 96% success rate. Oh, okay. I mean, that math doesn't really math when I look at the photos, but maybe
I know, right?
maybe I just need to count again. I didn't think they had that many photos in the, because that would mean that there would have to, if there's 4 people, that would mean that there has to be like 96 photos on the other wall.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. Oh, but it was 96. But it would still have to be like so many photos on that other wall.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe one of us needs to pay attention to the wall next time and count it.
Huh. That's crazy. I didn't pay attention to that.
Okay,
now
I have to go let the dog out. She is like flipping out right now.
Okay.
So I'll be right back. But just continue. Just keep going down Margaret's story or whatever. I'll be right back.
So Margaret has decided to go see a therapist. In her first session, she goes running out like a bat out of hell because her therapist hits her with some immediate truths. Um, and I'll probably bring this point up again when Bridget comes back. But I just feel like on that first visit that a therapist wouldn't do that. Like they usually try to ease into like gaining the trust of the client and just gauging things that are and aren't appropriate to say to the client and things like that. And the way she just jumped in like that to me was very unrealistic. Could be because I'm in school right now, psych major. Um, but I just didn't like it and I didn't think it was realistic. Maybe there's more folks and they have their picks elsewhere, like older saves and somewhere else and new ones replaced. That's what I was thinking. Like maybe the ones on the welcome home wall that we usually see are the ones from this year. And then, you know, there's a bigger wall for like every time a year goes by, they can now move those to the bigger wall. Janessa was saying maybe the rest of the photos are somewhere
I see
else.
that.
Yeah.
Maybe that makes more sense because the math ain't mathing right now.
While you were gone, because
Yes.
Janessa was saying she agreed with what I was saying, I said that I just really didn't think it was appropriate, and I really didn't think a therapist would react in the way that we saw the therapist be with Margaret at that first session. She was just,
Not
you
at a
know,
first session.
right,
Definitely not at a first session.
right,
Now, I could see that being like a couple sessions in
yeah,
because I'm sorry, but she does have to hear it.
mm-hmm.
She
Yeah,
does.
I said she hit her with some like cold hard truths, but like
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah.
think she would have. A therapist would have done that like at that
No,
in the first
no,
minutes of
you
the
have
initial
to
visit.
create rapport. If you
Yeah,
have rapport, like, what who are you to her?
right.
You're nobody to her. She literally just met you, so she's not gonna trust your opinion. I was surprised she went back.
Me too.
Yeah, honestly, because 'cause I've told my story about my horrible therapist that I walked out of the office and I never
No.
went back.
I was like,
I'm in
just
therapy now. It's okay, guys. I'm okay.
I was hoping that she went back to therapy, but not necessarily that one because that turned me off from that woman. How she how she did that in
I
that first
get
visit.
that they have to push the story forward, so I know that that's why, because 'cause they're trying to, like, push the story forward. They should have made it seem more familiar,
Mm-hmm.
like, because obviously time has passed in between each episode.
Right.
She could have been seeing her for a couple weeks already, but I don't know. Choices.
I was saying I was very happy though that she did decide, and we find out that she didn't go out with her daughter. She
I
didn't
was
make it.
so upset.
Yeah.
I was so upset about that. I'm like, I wanted to shake her and tell her
Yes.
exactly what the therapist told her. I'm gonna need you to let this go. Let it go.
And I've been wanting someone to say to her for so long, like the age that he would be if he's alive right now,
Mhm.
he would stay miles from that damn bus station.
He would go home.
Right.
He would go home, right? Like, if he can remember his childhood address, like, that's where he's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
That's if he even is found and they don't contact you.
Right.
Like, which of course they would. So, yeah, it's just the bus station, it wouldn't be where he would go. She's right. She was right.
And then I imagine him making it home miraculously and being like, "Where's mom?" And they're like, "Oh, she's been at the bus station for 13 years or whatever." And he's gonna be
She's not
like,
here. Yeah, your whole family
"What?"
fell apart.
Right.
Yeah, you know. Walking Dead Eternal says the therapist to me seemed a bit determined. Yeah. Yeah, she was. I mean, it was forceful. It's honestly, if it was a couple sessions in, it would be a sign of a really great therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Because a therapist should push you out of your
Mm-hmm.
comfort zone. Most definitely. But once they have a good working relationship with you.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, Margaret did say before part of the reason she goes back every day is to keep the memory fresh. Yeah, that's true, Jenna. So that is true. She does do that. I can't imagine in the last 13 years that she hasn't combed over absolutely every single
Every
part of that memory. There is no way she's missed anything. I would be shocked if she had. And I'm not saying she's wrong for it. I'm just saying that I think mentally the best way to handle this would be to move forward. And missing yet another event of your daughter's after she reached out to you despite not wanting to is it's just it's crappy.
I'm going to share a story, and it's not the same, but it's still the loss of children in a way.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, I was going to start the sentence by saying my kids weren't kidnapped, but technically one of my kids was kidnapped. Uh, but this is not even who the story is about. So I have two older kids who were literally brainwashed and don't really speak to me. Um, and part of the reason they're upset with me is because I moved on with my life once I had kids. Like, I had other people to worry about on top of worrying about that relationship. But it's hard for me to grasp her completely missing the rest of her kids' lives because of the loss of this one. Like, I understand the pain of like not having your child there and wanting your child there and needing your child there, but not at the expense of giving the other children like as normal a life as possible, or as
Mhm.
good of a life as, or as happy of a life as possible, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I mean, obviously, and you can speak to that more than I'm guaranteeing anyone else in this chat right now or in this right now. Like you can speak to that more than anybody else can. Um, I would think because that's the thing, like Walking Dead Eternal just said, never stop looking for your son, Margaret. I think it's really easy to say. I think it's really easy to say that, and like, of course, I want that story to work out for her. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want anybody to lose a kid ever. But if you're sacrificing the relationship you have with your children who are here, like that's not fair to them.
Mm-hmm.
As someone who's been a kid who's been like left behind, it sucks. It sucks. It does suck. Like to be completely ignored.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would hope like in your situation for instance that as those, as those girls get older that they realize there were other kids she needed to take care of. Like, as they become people, like
Right.
individuals, fully grown adults, I would hope that they would be able to see that because I think it is easier to look back on your life. I was mad at my dad and my mom for a lot of stuff growing up. Things that didn't work out the way that I thought they should have. And this isn't like a privileged thing. Like Takeerah knows a lot of my life. It's not been super great. It's a lot of it's been really crappy. But when I look back on that now, I know that my mom was doing everything that she could, even though it wasn't the way I would have done it, maybe, or maybe the best way for me, because I suffered mentally through a lot of things. Um, she did the best that she could, and so I appreciate that about her now. And so that's always my thought is like, hopefully your children grow up and realize that the decisions you made were in their best interest, and you were doing what you could to make things work. Because life isn't perfect. You're not going to be able to, it's not like TV. You're not just going to be able to magically work everything out.
Right. And let me tell you, like, people use the word brainwash lightly, like how a lot of people use a lot of words lightly,
Yeah,
but a mind that is still forming is so easy to frame into what you want it to be.
I know. I know.
It's just,
I know. I know.
yeah.
I know. I see it. I see it a lot, unfortunately, in my job. I see it a lot. I see a lot of negative like talk about other parents and stuff when there's
Mm-hmm.
like divorce involved or whatever. And it's really it's upsetting to see. But part of it also is like really sad because all you're doing is hurting your child. You're not getting one up on the other parent. You're not
Right.
nothing else is happening. All you're doing is like the kid is suffering through that.
Mm-hmm.
And kids are too young to hear things like that about their parents. It's one of the issues that my mom and I had. I was
Yep.
given far too much information about things at far too young of an age, and it wasn't okay. And I know that now, and I will move forward in my life knowing that I will avoid doing that to my own children should I ever be blessed enough to have them. But that's, we live and we learn, and that's why generationally, we can move towards working on not doing the things that our parents did to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect.
Which is why I'm so proud of Margaret, because she's doing this for a relationship
Yes.
with her daughter.
Yes. And I'm thankful. And I don't want anybody to think I'm like anti Margaret, because I love her, and I'm so hopeful for her. And I hope that something comes up with her son. I really do. I really, really do. But I'm so thankful that she's working towards
Mm-hmm.
salvaging the relationship with her daughter, because she could have one.
Yep, it's not too late.
No, it's not. It's not. And as someone who reconnected with her father in her 30s,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's never too late. It just depends. It just depends on the situation. So, anyway, moving on from that depressing piece, because that is ultimately just really sad. All right, what spot you want to go to?
Okay. I guess we can rewind
Okay.
to Sir's fever dreams.
Whew, they were something else.
Yeah.
All right. As Chanessa said, it was mommy
Yeah.
issues. We finally figured it out. It was mommy issues. Which, how did none of us go there previously?
Yeah.
We've
Like
all watched tons of true crime. It's
right.
always mommy
It's always
issues.
mommy issues. I mean, we've said like this guy has something crazy in his past, but what? Yeah. How did we not just?
I don't know. I mean, maybe we did. Maybe you and I talked about it because we talked about Ed Kemper,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think it was on the podcast. I think you and I were just talking about Ed Kemper
Oh,
because
okay.
I think I was driving home.
Um, okay, so Creep Sir is sick because Gabby is sick. Because I feel like since he's more sick, maybe he was the more recent one to get sick. Does that make sense?
He could be. It could also just be he's locked in a basement.
I mean, yeah, that too.
He's not getting like sunlight, fresh air.
Right.
Not like being outside. So
Mm-hmm. So he is kind of going back and forth in and out of his delusions or whatever it is that he's having, memories, fever dreams, where we get to see his psychopathic mother.
mm-hmm.
So one thing that I wanted to ask, was she having sex with men in front of him?
I mean, I don't know if like literally in front of him, but like he knew what was going
Right,
on.
like
Yeah.
I was like, so that looks like a super small apartment, first of all.
Yeah.
Like
He
extremely,
knew.
yeah,
He knew.
yeah.
He knew.
And I have been dying to see where this obsession came from with Gabby.
I knew it as soon as she came in and sat down, and I was like, oh,
Oh, yes. I'm like, and I
oh,
just love, is it me or does like this woman in his past look like young Gabby?
like a little, yeah. There's
Like
a little of a
similarities.
resemblance. I think,
Yeah.
obviously that was a casting choice.
That yeah, of
Yeah.
course. But I just I don't know why it wasn't what I expected, but I love it.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was
Mm-hmm.
interesting insight. Okay, so I'm gonna read a couple comments because they kind of bring up some of the things I want to talk about. So
Okay.
Walking Dead Eternal says, now we know how Sir became Sirish. Janessa said he's older too in reference to the sickness, which yeah, you're right. That's part
Oh
of it
yes,
too. He's older.
yes,
She also says, but yeah, now his aversion to being ignored and all things impure makes a
yes.
lot more sense. And then she also says she was for the streets. She's on the streets. She was in the streets. She was for the streets.
But she
Oh, Janessa,
was.
you be cracking us up.
She was though.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Yeah. So yeah. So it was really interesting to see. I liked it. It surprised
Mm-hmm.
me that I liked
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, okay. One, this makes sense. Your mom sucks. So sorry for you, bud. She's the worst. Um, God only knows what she went through to be that way,
Yeah.
right? With her own kid.
Yep.
There was some clear favoritism towards the younger child.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if that was just for show in front of the neighbor or if that was like genuine, but been there. As the older sibling, been there. Um, it's a real thing. They're the baby and they're perfect. They can't do anything wrong. And you are the worst. And why can't you get it together? And you should know better. And you should be more responsible. And blah, 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 blah. It's real. Anyway, I don't kidnap people. So there's that. But I mean, maybe it's just a thin line away. Um, Janessa said it answers some questions, but presented many more. Truthfully, it really did. It really, really did. But it was
So many
interesting. I was
more.
glad we finally got a little something.
I came out with questions like, was his mom just a straight prostitute?
Mm, I mean, Janessa said she's for the streets, so yeah, maybe. No, I I don't know. I don't know if she genuinely was
Right.
or if she was just promiscuous. I'm not really sure. But
Um,
Sir wrote that she's a hoe bag, like in his journal.
also, do we know what year this was?
So that's what I was trying to place because I was like, something's not like 100% accurate about this.
Yeah.
So then I was trying to place. Okay, so we're in 2023. And Gabi is supposed to be in her 30s, I would guess.
Yeah.
Right? Like late in her 20s, so she's in her 30s. That's my guess. This is just an estimate. So if she's in her 30s and she was like she was like a teen when he took her.
Mm-hmm.
And he would have been in like his late 20s, early 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Then that makes him like 50 something in his 50s. Okay. So what? Yeah, that puts us at late 70s, early 80s. But it almost looked late 60s, early 70s.
It did, especially the way they had the black lady's hair and clothes.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing about timelines like that. Often, the way that we remember things is like it's like slated like differently. Because you know when people talk about the 80s and they talk about all the bright colors and that wasn't the 80s, that was the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
That was not the 80s. The 80s was like shoulder pads and like a lot of like white and black.
I despise those damn shoulder pads. And they came in everything.
They did. I'm not mad about them. But anyway, the thing I'm most mad about ever in history of anything is stirrup pants.
Oh my God.
Okay? And they came back recently. And I was like,
know.
no. Vehemently, no.
No.
Because I'm not going to go through the dilemma again of trying to figure out where exactly these stirrups are supposed to go. Are they supposed to go under my sock? Are they supposed to go over my sock? Are they supposed to go over my shoe? Because I don't like the feeling of it in my shoe. Who are they for? Who are they for? Whose leggings are rolling up their legs that you need to secure them under your feet?
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, rant over.
They were the worst.
They were the absolute worst. If you've ever worn them, you understand my intense hatred of stirrup leggings and how horrible it was. It was just horrible. It was just horrible. Who were they for? Who were they for? Who are they still for? And if Target doesn't stop trying to bring back the early aughts, I'm gonna just die because there's so many metallic fabrics. Why? It didn't look good then. It didn't look good on Britney Spears then. Please stop. Nobody wants it.
Nobody.
I promise you. Someone saw ballet flats the other day. And I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this with you guys. And I cannot have your nasty, smelly feet around me. Okay. Sorry, I said the rant was over. It's officially over. We're moving on. Anyway, something about the costuming didn't look quite right. But I'm wondering if that's just me misremembering like time periods or like something to that effect. Because certainly a costumer in Hollywood knows more about this than I do.
I'm going to say it was either some kind of mistake in wardrobe or, you know, they were in a part of the country that doesn't keep up with.
Oh, the Midwest, maybe.
Right.
Because I've lived there and it's like 10 years in the past somehow.
Sorry. Food delivery.
Must be nice. I live in the middle of nowhere, so nobody will bring us anything like ever. Oh, that's a fair point, Chanessa. Chanessa said he was also sick AF, so maybe don't count on his memory being great. Good call.
This
good
is
call.
true.
Yeah, that's a really good call, actually. I like that. Kind of like a jumbled mess in his brain.
And didn't she kind of make like a slavery joke with him?
Who?
I don't remember the black lady's name.
So someone said that she was Annie on Twitter last night, and I can't get that out of my head now. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true.
I need to look it up.
But I thought it was interesting. I thought it was an interesting idea. Anyway, so Annie, are you talking about Annie?
Yes, Annie.
I did not get that vibe, but maybe I missed it.
It was just the way she said, what was she? I think she was asking him, did he want more soup? And like the way she said it to him. I was
His mom called her Carol.
That's weird.
Okay, see? These people on Twitter just be spouting stuff off, you know. It was an interesting idea.
Yes, the way she said, like, some more food, sir. I was like, it was just weird. It
made you uncomfortable?
Yeah. I was like,
that's fair. No, I didn't get that vibe from it at all. I thought it was weird that she called him sir, but then I was like, maybe they're just trying to like wedge that in.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
He went to get the groceries from downstairs. Sorry.
The children are inquiring, where's father?
Yes.
That was cute that she came in and asked in a way. That was sweet.
Where'd daddy go?
That was cute.
So yeah, I don't know. That I loved the story and the woman and all of it, but that one little line creeped me out a bit. I don't know why.
That's fair. Okay, that's fair. I didn't get that vibe, but you know, I only watched it once, so that is fair. That is weird. Okay, Janessa says also, did anyone else notice in the last flashback when his mom came back the stairs that her back down the stairs that her nightgown was on inside out and backwards.
Wow. I didn't notice that.
I did not. Ew.
Right.
She gives me the ick.
Ugh.
Ugh. Gross. Ugh. Anyway.
Wow.
All right. What else did you want to talk about? Because we're going to have to wrap this up soon.
Okay, do you think I mean there had to be, right? There had to be more story to this Carol and what's his name? Hugh?
Hugh. Yeah. So I guess that name the fake name he used must be his real name. Because wasn't it Hugh something?
Right. Yeah.
Janessa said I caught it on the second rewatch. It feels intentional, but no clue why. Ugh, it's skeeving me out.
Yeah, maybe just to show us how gross she is.
It's skeeving me out, man.
Someone on Twitter pointed out that when he was delusional and Gabby came downstairs to talk to him, she was calling him Hugh.
Did she though, or was that just the way that they did the transition? I thought she was saying "Hey you."
Oh.
So I thought it was just because they were trying to do a clever transition from his past into the present.
That is a good thought.
So I don't know.
Dang it. That's a good thought, yeah.
But maybe.
Okay, I do kind of want to, I don't know why my brain just threw me completely in a different direction, but it brought me back to Chanessa's question about who's going to find out first and how.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Only because I still think that he has the ability to get out whenever the hell he wants. And I think that that's how someone's going to find out.
You know, that does make sense, Takeerah, that you say that, because that would explain the sighting. Because it was by her house. But then he was at the strip club.
Strip club, right.
Excuse me.
Bless you. Yeah, the strip club part of it weirded me out, and I don't know why that happened, but I do feel like, you know, one of the sightings was like the real Sir.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'm about to have another sneezing fit. Great.
I have not seen the movie Ma, Walking Dead Eternal. I have not seen horror movies in a really long time. Like, I've watched a couple random ones here and there that I don't really remember the name of. But I'm a huge horror fan, and I haven't seen like a good horror movie in a long time.
No, to be fair, there's been a lot of bad ones out there. Okay, so because we're gonna wrap this up, what is going on? Just because we're gonna wrap this up soon, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat now. Because we're gonna wrap this up, mainly just because, you know, this show airs too late, and so it makes me extremely tired on Wednesdays.
Well, Lacey has multiple things going on.
Okay.
She has this little cute thing going on with Zeke. That
Yes. Told y'all. I'm gonna rub it in your faces every week.
like, you can tell that, and I'm gonna use the word pillow talk, but I'm not using it as in like they've had sex. I'm using it as in, you know, they've been next to each other a lot, and to me that's still pillow talk. But you can tell they've kind of been like pillow talking because he knows things before other people do.
Yeah. How do you feel about her leave of absence?
I don't blame her, but I kind of don't want her. I don't trust her, and I just don't want her to kind of disappear and then him disappear from the basement at the same time. I want her to like stick around where we can keep an eye on her.
Yeah. I could see that. I felt like was she enacting this plan to try to like goad Gabi into like finally
Mm,
admitting something, but it backfired.
yeah. Well, you know
Gabi
what?
was like, "Yeah, no, sounds like a great idea.
At
Please,
first she did.
please leave because I'm trying to deal with this stuff and I'm trying to hide that I have a man in my basement."
No, I think she wanted her to go because now all she can think about is the fact that he threatened
Yeah,
her life.
that he's gonna hurt her.
Mm-hmm.
Did love that she finally asked the question, "What is in the basement,
Yeah,
Gabi?"
we all freaked out on Twitter when she was like,
I
"What's
know.
in the basement?"
And she's
We're
like,
all like,
"I'm
"What's in
I'm in the
the
basement. I'm in the darkness." I was like, "Can you stop? You're not writing poetry. Calm down."
Honestly, though,
It was a
to
good
me,
metaphor.
it was the first time she didn't lie.
Yeah, no, it was truthful. It just
Mm-hmm.
wasn't the truth.
Right. I was like, I mean, I'll take it for now because I do feel like there's going to be a montage of Lacey remembering all the times that she gave Gabi a chance to tell her the truth and she didn't. And hopefully in that montage, she'll remember that moment and she'll be thinking the same thing I did. Like, okay, I guess she kind of didn't
Yeah.
completely lie that time.
Yeah.
Like she wanted to try to tell her the truth. And honestly, she does want to tell somebody the truth.
Oh, she does. I
Yeah.
think she's been really close to telling both Lacey and Trent at this point.
And now Trent screwed it up, so she's probably going to end up telling Lacey.
I think so. I hope so. Let's get this man out of your basement and in prison where he belongs.
And also, who said somebody doesn't know already?
Well, you know, we had that conversation last week.
Mm-hmm.
Don knows.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all playing if you think Don doesn't know.
Don put his ass in that basement.
Don is the boogeyman. He did it. He did it. All right, Genesis is not a question, but the staging and the lighting of the flashbacks was on point. It was very theatrical. It was. It was like what
Yeah.
is that called? Black box theater? Do you know what I'm talking about? Black box
Mm-mm.
theater? Okay. So black box theater is when it's like your stage is essentially just a black box. And you maybe have like a
Mm.
handful of set pieces, but everything is like really bare bones. And it's meant to kind of create this like drastic like scene. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And it really relies heavily then obviously on dialogue and acting because you don't have these lavish sets. And it's a lot of the time it's done like, you know, back alley theaters, like small operations because it costs less money too on top of that. So yeah, you're right. It reminded me a lot of that. Walking Dead Eternal says, I think we're missing the conversation between Lacey and Gabi and how Lacey is taking a break. Nope, just talked about it. So that came in at the right time. And don't forget that Tony, the character who was shot, is alive in the hospital. I
Yes.
know. So happy Tony is awake. Tony's awake. So buckle up, Buttercup. Next week
Mm-hmm.
episode is called Missing While Indoctrinated.
Whew.
Ooh, it's giving culty vibes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was written by Zoe Marshall, who also wrote the 4th episode, Missing While a Pawn.
Okay.
Obviously, because that was the one about Tony
Mm-hmm.
and the trafficker. So they brought back in the same writer, which is great. And then it is directed by Keisha Sharp, who has not done any other episodes, but you will be happy to know that Keisha Sharp played Monica Charles Brooks in a little show. I don't know if you remember. Girlfriends. That show was my jam. Keisha Sharp. I don't remember Monica in Girlfriends, but I'm going to have to go look. I remember Tracy Ellis Ross. That's what I remember the most from Girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to love that show. It was so good. And why was it created by Kelsey Grammer? It makes no sense. Anyway, It made absolutely no sense. Walking Dead Eternal says, "Are you going to be doing the live the same time as this stream?" Yes, we're back on our normal time. Back on our normal time. So we will see you next week, same time, same bat time, same bat channel. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday to talk about episode 10, Missing While Indoctrinated. I'm excited. I hope you're all excited. I hope that Keisha Sharp makes a cameo appearance. Honestly.
Right?
Honestly. I've got to figure out which one of the girlfriends she is. But, you know.
Right.
I know. Was she the one who worked at the hair salon? Anyway. I don't know. I'm going to find out. Oh, good. Jermaine can be here. Great. Happy. I'm happy you'll be here. Janessa will be here. Executive producer. Janessa will be here. I hope. Because she's our fact checker and executive producer. So we need her here. Anyway, as always. What?
Keisha Sharp. Okay, I know who she is. She's
Which
also.
one is she? Oh my god, she was in Pootie Tang. I can't. I can't.
Yes, I know her from Lethal Weapon, where she was on
Keisha
the same
Sharp.
show
Yeah.
as Paola Lazaro.
Oh, well, that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to watch Girlfriends.
I also know her from Why Did I Get Married?
The first one?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's several of those now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you again for being here. We appreciate all of you. Thank you, Walking Dead Eternal. Thank you, Janessa. Thank you, Lois. Thank you, Mitchell, for the assist.
Yes.
He's not even here. Thank you. And thank you to all of our viewers who watch after the fact. I'm looking at you, Suez Contour. Yep, that's your name. Pretty sure on YouTube. Thank you so much. One, for always leaving comments. And I totally forgot to tell you, Takeerah. One of our viewers has requested that we create playlists for the characters.
Oh,
Which,
I love this.
Okay. To be fair, it was not requested. It was done for Lacey by the viewer. And then I was like, and they were like, what do you think her playlist would be? And then I was like, that's such a fun idea. So I think at the end of this season, we might create playlists for all the characters and then provide them to you. And maybe we can put them on Spotify or something.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, that's exciting. So thank you for fun ideas. Love it. Also for commenting and liking, and make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I don't care if you hit the notification bell, but like the algorithm likes it. So like go ahead and do it. Okay. Because we're still sitting firm at 75. And I would love to get another couple. You know, my goal was 100 by the end of the year. I don't know
see 76.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Did we get another subscriber? We did. Cool. Thanks, whoever you are. I don't know who it was, but thank you. Appreciate it. Exciting stuff. Did you just tell Richie to do it so that I would have another subscriber?
I don't
Were
know
you
if
just
I
like
made
Richie?
Richie subscribe.
Richie subscribes so Bridget doesn't have a meltdown. Dead City is going to film in January. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah,
we've got another season of that coming. We'll have things. We'll have things to talk about. But this is taking us through to the end of the year.
Yeah,
it's pretty astonishing.
Just so you guys know, I'm a pretty good stalker when I want to be, so I will be keeping you all updated on any found like season 2 fun.
Okay, no spoilers though.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Just, like, you know, they might be like, oh, such and such is going to be in season 2 of Found, like a new cast member or whatever.
Oh, okay,
stuff like that.
I will tolerate that. I will tolerate it. All right. We love you guys. Thank you again so much for being here. And I'm sorry for this being a busy season and me not being super great right now. But Takeerah's stepped up. So she got you. You're still going to get the same content and you won't have to listen to me. So as much. I'll still talk a lot. I can't help it. It's in me.
Well,
Lonnie,
Lonnie.
what in the world? Hello. We're ending, but I'm so happy you're here. Love you. Yeah, so you guys have a great night and enjoy your week. And I hope that you had a great Thanksgiving if you're in America. And if you're outside of America, stupid Americans with their stupid holidays. Anyway, love you guys.
Love you
And
guys.
we will see you next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.